So what, according to you, has changed as far as the recruitment is concerned?
It will be adaptability, because in today's fast changing environment, the technology gets outdated very fast.
What do you think is the correct way to craft resume in 2026? How do they deal with this nervousness before the interview? Can you please throw some light on this? People are not really able to cope up with rejections the way they should. So can you help us understand how do the candidates cope up with the rejections that they face in interviews? What are some common mistakes that candidates do while appearing for interviews? Hi everyone, so I'm Preeti Vachani, founder of Enriching Lives, corporate trainer and a transformational coach having 14 plus years of experience. Welcome you all to an exciting episode of our podcast where we bring out practical insights to help you grow personally and professionally. Today's topic is something that every college student or a young professional should pay attention to. And the topic is what recruiters look for in candidates, particularly in 2026. Well, today's times are highly dynamic. You talk about AI, you talk about hybrid work, you talk about automation. Things are not the same as they were a decade ago. In fact, now the way employers are hiring, their recruitment strategies have changed completely. The scenario which was there 10 years ago or the skills that you had 5 years or 10 years ago may not be relevant today. So what is it that works today? And to help us understand this better, today we have with us communication and employability skills expert, campus to corporate trainer Shilpi Uke, who is going to help us with this topic, and she has trained and helped thousands of college graduates and professionals get their job interview. So welcome Shilpi to our show.
Thank you so much, Preeti, for inviting me today. I'm really happy to be here because this is a question that can create a lot of confusion and anxiety among candidates. So today we are going to simplify what recruiters are actually looking for in a candidate.
I believe let's start with the basics first. So what, according to you, has changed as far as the recruitment is concerned?
Earlier, companies used to look for marks, degrees and qualifications, but that is not the scenario anymore in 2026. Now the recruiters look for what we call in our language ask, and that is that A stands for attitude, S is for skills and K stands for knowledge. So you should have a proper attitude, skills required for that particular job profile and your subject knowledge domain also. So that we will be discussing in detail how to be perfect in all of these.
Absolutely, and I think that's such a beautiful shift. In fact, I think candidates are mistaken when they only think about only the marks or the degrees. They forget that companies are looking forward to the holistic development. Are they really developing as a person, as an individual? Do they have all those skills which are also called life skills in them? So beautifully articulated. Now, I think my next question would be, can you kind of list or can you give me a list of 5 skills that are very important and every recruiter looks in a candidate?
Okay, Preeti, if I talk about the top 5 skills that recruiters look for, it will be on number 1 is definitely the communication skills. And communication skills doesn't mean speaking just fluent English. It is about expressing your ideas clearly and confidently. If I talk about the number 2 skills, it will be adaptability, because in today's fast changing environment, the technology gets outdated very fast, and so the candidate should be someone who is willing to learn and adapt to the new technology as they come for. So that's very important, adaptability. Number 3 will be problem solving and initiative, taking initiatives, because recruiters look for candidates who don't always keep looking for instructions. They would want someone who take the initiatives to understand what's on hand and take it forward. The number 4th skill that's very important is emotional intelligence, because you will be working with teams. So whether you have empathy, whether you are a good listener, whether you can work together in a team better. So these are definitely very important qualities. And number 5 skill is digital awareness, because today you have to befriend AI and different digital technology tools. Like you should know how to take meetings on Zoom, Meet and a Microsoft Teams, so that you are capable of working in a virtual environment too. So these are the top 5 skills that recruiters are looking for in 2026.
Wow, that makes so much sense. In fact, I believe if every candidate focuses on these 5 skills, not only from an interview perspective, I believe these skills are going to help them for lifetime. So very, very important. I think all of you should take a note of all these 5 skills. Please don't just watch this video just lying down. Have a pen and paper and kind of try to write down all these points. But brilliantly explained all the 5 points. But Shilpi, I think now that you mentioned communication skills on number 1, can you please tell me what has happened lately? Why is communication skill become so much important?
Thank you, Preeti, for asking that question, because being a communication coach, I really believe that if there is one skill that's the base of all other workplace skills, it is communication skill. Because you need good communication skill not just to crack interviews. You need good communication skills when you're working in teams, discussing your ideas in teams. If you become a leader, you need to communicate well to your team members, right? If you are having client interactions, you should have good communication skills. So communication skill is a non-negotiable skills these days. Your degree can get your resume shortlisted, but your communication skill is the thing that will get you selected for a job.
Wow. I am sure all the people who are watching this are going to agree with this. I would just quickly like to add something here. People often mistakenly think that communication skills equals to spoken English. Well, that's a myth. Spoken English is a part of our communication skills. Communication is much more than that. For example, you may come across somebody who is not very good in English, but the way he or she communicates is beautiful. So it's all about non-verbal. It's not only English. English is a part of it. Of course, you should try to improve that as well, because that is an added advantage. But please be very clear about it that spoken English is a component of your communication skills. All right. One more question that comes to my mind is, what are some common mistakes that candidates do while appearing for interviews?
That's a very good question, Preeti. If I talk about the most common mistake that candidates make while they go for an interview, then they go with that mindset that I really need this job, and if I'll agree to everything that the recruiter will say, I'll get selected for the job.
Absolutely.
But let me tell you that that's the absolutely wrong mindset to have, because when you go with that kind of a mindset, that desperation for the job shows in your body language. You will over explain things, you will agree to everything that the recruiter is saying without exploring. So what happens is that you think that you will this increases your chance of getting selected, but let me tell you that recruiters will never select you just because you want the job. What value addition you can bring to their company, so you have to focus upon that.
That was great, Shilpi. In fact, I believe when they kind of try to be the best, eventually they lose out authenticity. And I think being authentic is the number 1 skill that they all need to have. If the employer or the recruiter finds out that he or she is not real, you are not authentic, then the entire plot is lost. And in that spirit of just being the best, you're trying to portray as if you're perfect, but you are not. So we all are flawed human beings. Let's accept it. Have that mindset of getting the job, but don't be in that desperation. There's one question which almost everybody has asked me wherever I am taking a workshop or a training session. People do come up to me and they ask me this one single question every time. They just want to know what is it that they can do in order to overcome the nervousness that they feel. We all know that there are butterflies in the stomach. How do they deal with this nervousness before the interview? Can you please throw some light on this?
Of course, Preeti, as you say, that is the most common problem that every candidate has. It's very, very natural to feel nervous before you appear for an interview. And the solution that I'm going to share with you all today, you might find it a bit strange. It's a bit ironical, but let me share the secret with you. If you want to beat nervousness of interview, the only solution is to appear in as many interviews as possible. Because if you face that scenario more and more, you'll get more and more comfortable with it. You'll know how to, face those questions. After the interview, you can just reflect back upon your answers and improvise upon them, so that the next time that you are appearing for an interview, you will be giving better answers and you will be much more confident. So slowly and gradually, you will be able to beat this nervousness around you. So if you're not getting ample opportunities to appear for real interviews, what you can do is you can conduct mock interviews with your friends and practice it. That's the only solution, my dear friends.
Wow, this is such a powerful tip. I am sure we all know this, but somewhere we fail to apply this. But I'm sure this is the only magical and powerful tip that is going to help all of us beat that nervousness. And I think in there's a saying also that practice makes you perfect. Okay, lot many times the candidates who are supposed to apply for an interview, they face rejections. And let us be very honest with it. Every time you're not going to be selected. People need to accept this hard-hitting fact. But I think, Shilpi, people are not really able to cope up with rejections the way they should. So can you help us understand how do the candidates cope up with the rejections that they face in interviews?
That's a very good question, Preeti, because it is very, very natural to feel dejected and deeply disappointed when you face rejection in interviews. But let me explain this with the help of an example. Suppose you are a customer looking to buy a brand, mobile phone of brand A, and you go to a mobile shop, but that shop doesn't have that particular model with those features. They have got so many different options, but you don't want that. So
right.
So does that mean that you are a bad customer or that shop is bad?
Not
right?
really.
Not. So that is exactly what you have to understand. That customer is a recruiter who is coming, who is looking for some particular skills for that particular job, and you maybe lack those skills, you don't have those skills, but then there are so many other skills that you have. So definitely you'll find a recruiter one day who is looking for those skills that you possess, and that will be the best match for you, because in those circumstances only you are going to thrive, because that's the best match for you. So just wait patiently and keep preparing yourself. Don't take rejections to your own self. They have not rejected you as a person. That's the only reason. So if you think with this kind of a mindset, you will not take rejections to your heart.
Wow, that's wonderful. I think it all starts with our mindset. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes.
And how do you deal with rejections has got a lot more to do with our mindset. And second point that I understood from what you said is that let's embrace our uniqueness in our own beautiful ways. We all are unique in some other ways, and let's accept it and acknowledge this fact.
Absolutely.
Rather than cribbing and complaining, oh, I got rejected from this company. And I'm also very sure, and this question is for all you people out there, you must have met a lot of super successful people. Can you tell me one name and that person has not faced any rejection in his or her own life? I am sure you'll not get any single name. All those people whom you see are very successful. You don't know the other side of the story. I am sure they have faced their part of the rejections as well, and those rejections have made them really successful.
Absolutely right.
Now, let's talk about a very important component, which is resume. So now that we are talking about 2026 and we are talking about everything that's updated, how can we not talk about resumes? Because the way we craft resumes has changed in a lot many ways, right? So my question to you is, what do you think is a correct way to craft resume in 2026?
That's a very important question, Preeti, because if there is something that has really changed in the job market, it's the resume for 2026. Because now no more the HR of the companies, screen through the hundreds of resumes manually. What they do is simply put it in a software known as ATS, which is applicant tracking system, and that software shortlists the resume. So you might have, great skills, you might be very knowledgeable, but if your resume is not ATS compliant, you'll not even get a chance to appear for the interview. So it's very, very important to make your resume ATS compliant in 2026, but that's a very broad topic and we'll have to take it up separately.
So why don't we do one thing? For all you people out there, I am sure you all want to learn more about resume building. Let's do one thing. We'll have a separate podcast on the entire resume building strategies so that the people out there can, benefit in lot many ways. But I think as of now, they've understood they need to have ATS friendly resume.
Yeah, that's a very good idea, Preeti. But just to give them some quick tips for their resumes, their resume should be very clean and simple, nothing fancy.
All right.
Your resume should be totally achievement focused, and it should be customized and tailored according to every JD. Now in 2026, it doesn't hold true anymore that you make one single resume and post it for all the company's requirements. You have to go through the JDs very carefully and craft your resumes according to those so that they have the keywords in them. That's the most important part.
Absolutely. That's such a powerful point that Shilpi has spoken about. Please understand here, the mantra of one size fits all doesn't work anymore. You need to understand that your resume has to be completely aligned with the job description. What are the different key skill sets they are mentioning in their profile, and based on those key skill sets you need to highlight those achievements of yours. So it has to be done, I think, in a very smart and a subtle way. So let's move on to the next question, which is a very important question, and I'm very curious to know the answer to this question. And the question goes like, what is that one hidden thing in the mind of the interviewers when they are trying to screen somebody?
Yes, that's very important question, Preeti, because usually candidates, take the questions on their face value, but that's a totally wrong approach, because behind every question, the recruiters are trying to identify any particular skill that they are looking for according to the job. This is the critical thinking, because only with the help of critical thinking you will be able to identify what skill they are looking for. Like, if I want to give you a very simple example, if someone has opted for commerce stream after 12th in their graduation, and the recruiters ask them that why did you choose commerce? Now if they say that I did not score enough marks to get science, therefore I took up commerce, or my dad wanted me to be in commerce,
yes, has been
my
a very
friend took
regular
up
practice.
commerce, so I took it.
So true.
So what does that signifies towards you that you are not logically thinking, you are following others, right? So what the recruiters are actually looking for, if you would have said that I screened the different options and found that numbers fascinate me, therefore I chose commerce, so that shows your decision taking capability, that you think logically and take informed decisions. So behind every question there is a skill that they are measuring, and you need to identify that through your critical thinking and answer the questions accordingly.
Beautifully summarized. Critical thinking is one skill which is so underrated. People really don't value this skill, and the ones who have understood this game, they are really ahead of the people of their age. I mean, you see all the young entrepreneurs, what are they doing? Because of their critical thinking and quick decision making, they are able to make it at the top of the game. So Shilpi, if you have to sum up, what final advice would you give to all the candidates who are going to start their careers in 2026, or they are trying to shift to some other company in 2026? So your final advice to all those candidates, what it would be?
If I have to sum up everything that I've said till now, what recruiters are looking for in 2026, I can say that in 3 points. The first being, can you do the job? That means whether you have the knowledge and skills, your technical domain knowledge. Then can you work with the teams?
Wow,
that's very, very important.
Beautiful.
Means whether you have emotional intelligence and whether you are a team player. Then can the company trust you? Because whether you are a responsible person, you are a committed person, because that's also very, very important. So you are being assessed by recruiters on these 3 parameters, I would say.
Wow, I think a great way to summarize and encapsulate all the learnings that we had throughout. We are not over yet. We are going to have a rapid fire segment. So let's begin. All right, and the first question is, most underrated skill?
Listening.
All right, very true. Biggest interview mistake?
Trying to be perfect.
Oh, that's interesting. Being fake doesn't really help. One habit candidates should develop?
Reading.
Oh, that's a very powerful habit, I must say. One quality recruiters love?
Taking initiatives.
Brilliant. And the last question, success formula in one line?
Keep learning and keep growing.
Oh, what better way to sum it up? So yeah, you have to be a learner always. I believe even after working for more than a decade, still we are learners. We are trying, we are learning, we are actually students forever. Wow, such an insightful conversation today. Well, I think the biggest takeaway that we all have today is that recruiters are not just hiring degrees. They are hiring adaptable, emotionally intelligent, good communicators, resilient, critical decision takers, and people who are really flexible and who are ready to learn and grow and evolve. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. I'm sure you learned many things, and heartfelt thanks to our Shilpi Uke ma'am, who shared so many beautiful insights and practical tips that are going to help us in many ways.
Thank you so much for this beautiful discussion. But wait, before wrapping up, I will want to leave my listeners with a very special surprise. I have curated a interview preparation workbook for them, which gives you with so many practical tips and techniques to crack interviews.
Wow.
How to beautifully, structure your answers in a star plus format. It also has mock interview templates.
Oh, great.
It has confidence building exercises, reflection exercises, and also a 21-day improvement plan. So basically, you can think of it as your personal interview coach in the form of a workbook.
Wow.
Because I believe that confidence doesn't, just come from motivation, it comes from preparation. And that is what this workbook will do for you. So if you want this workbook, just comment interview in the section below and we'll share it with you. Thank you so much and wish you all the best for your career ahead.
Wow, that indeed is a pleasant surprise, and I'm sure the listeners and the audience, they are going to love this. I know that this is not enough for all of us if we want to crack our interviews. So I believe let's give our audience one more chance to interact and let us know what more they want to learn from us. So if you want to know more about this topic and have an in-depth knowledge, why don't you type in your questions in the comment section and do let us know what more queries you have, so that we will include those questions in our next podcast. And also let us know, did you like this podcast, or whatever comments you have, please give us your valuable feedback. And I'm sure we all had great time. Thank you so much for coming here, and thank you so much all of you, and wish you all the very best.